Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I've got 3 videos for you today. The main one is from Judge Sanders in Washington, and then a couple of traffic ones after that. So I'll let you guys watch.
Thank you. Okay, so hello to both parties. We're here in cause 25S000054. We have Peter Holland and Raynell Brooks plaintiffs. So we have, is it Larry or Larry? How do you pronounce it?
It's Larry.
Larry Lauren as the defendant. So we are here today for trial. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the basics before we begin. So how it's going to start is Mr. Holland, you or Ms. Brooks can go first with your testimony because you're the plaintiffs in this matter. I do have the exhibits that were submitted in front of me. So I will just ask you that when you are talking about your side of the story, to please refer to exhibits and let me find them with you so I can look through them if you need me to during the actual trial. Okay. And then if you have any witnesses that you wish to call on your behalf, you can call them and I will listen to their side as well. When you're done with your case, then we'll ask Ms. Lauren, it'll be your turn to offer a rebuttal. I'll listen to your side. Once again, you can call witnesses as well if you have anyone that you need to call on your behalf. Because the plaintiffs did file this matter, they'll have a short amount of time to offer a final rebuttal to end this matter. I just ask that during this trial that only I am addressed, that not you guys don't address each other. Sometimes it can get a little contentious. I just want to, can you hear me?
Better. We can hear you better now.
I don't know what you touched, but
It's
yeah.
better.
I just brought a microphone next to me, so I apologize. It was a little bit further away. Can you, do I need to repeat anything?
No.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I didn't realize that it wasn't next to me. I just don't want it to be contentious. I just want to get to the bottom of this and just resolve it as best as we can.
Yes, ma'am.
During the trial, I apologize. I might interject with just some questions so I can get to the bottom of things and figure it out on my side as well. So then at the end, I can offer a judgment on this case. Okay. Miss Lauren as well, I have your exhibits as well. So if you need me to refer to anything, I have them right here in front of me. So please just tell me where to look. Okay. So, Mr. Holland, Miss Brooks, who's going to go first? Who's going to speak on your side first?
Miss Brooks.
Okay. All right, Miss Brooks. So if you could please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes, I do.
Could you please state your full name and then spell your last name for the record?
Raynell May Brooks. Brooks is BROOKS.
Perfect. Thank you. Please begin with your testimony.
There's so much stuff that's gone on since she has stopped paying payments. One thing that is very upsetting is she's gone on social media and slandered by name my business, my name, and Shamrock, which is Peter Holland.
And all we try to do is help her.
It's, all we've tried to do is help her. That's why we got her this phone. She swore up and down that she would make payments every month. And well, she made the first 3 months of the payment, and I think it was like $150. But the late fees, and then she added a second line, so the bill went up.
She added another line onto it.
Yeah, because there was another line added.
So I apologize to interrupt. Let's start from the very, very beginning. So Miss Lauren is an ex-employee of yours, correct?
She was an apprentice, not an employee.
She was an apprentice.
She was an apprentice, and you decided to purchase a phone for her as your apprentice, correct?
Her phone was all mangled and broken up.
Okay.
And in order to do a really good job in tattooing and imagery and drawings and stuff, you got to have a good workable phone.
Okay. So you went and got an iPhone 16 from AT&T, correct?
Yes.
They did together, yeah.
Okay. Because we just need to start from the beginning. So you got an iPhone 16 from AT&T, and was the phone purchased outright, or was it that she had to pay for the line plus
on my name, all on my name.
Make payments
On my line, on my phone bill.
on Shamrock, Peter Holland's bill.
Because she had no credit. She had robbed AT&T for $700 before, but we didn't know that until after the fact.
Okay, so,
Yeah, that standing bill.
With
okay, so
AT&T.
you on your account ended up purchasing an iPhone 16 and adding a line to it, and this was for your apprentice at that time, Miss Lauren. Okay, so was there just a verbal agreement that she would pay it off monthly, or how was this decided that she would pay what monthly?
She would make it monthly payments.
Okay.
She verbally agreed, but we did sign all the papers at AT&T.
Okay. So monthly payments, do you know how much she was supposed to pay a month about?
About 180, about 180 a month, something like that.
Okay.
Almost 200.
Because it was for the iPhone, the iPad, and the iWatch. We got all three for her, a bundle deal. That way she'd be on time to work. She got her watch. We got her an iPad so she could do all her designs and all her business and everything on it. And we got her the phone so she could do her videos and social media. And we trained her in everything with social media, tattooing, and everything.
Why
But-
are you only requesting an iPhone 16? Did you get the iPad and iWatch back?
Yes.
Yeah, we got those back.
The owner of 360 Tattoo, her name is Christine. I also put one of the papers that's to you and to Lurin, a paper saying that she got the iPad back for us and tried to talk to Lurie to do the right thing.
And transfer the bill over to herself.
And because it's not good, because she left us.
With big bill, $1,600 bill.
Yeah, and then went over to 360 and started working for Christine. And I told Christine, what was going on, and she got the iPad and the iWatch back.
Yeah, Christine, the owner took it. She took it.
Mr. Holland, I apologize. I just haven't sworn you in, so I
Okay.
can't really
Oh,
have
okay.
you offer
All right.
statements. It's just
I won't say nothing.
because
You're right. I'll back up. I got you.
no, it's fine. I appreciate it. I just want everything to be correct on the record. I want everything to
Okay.
be, able to be used. So I just want to say that at this time, let me just ask Miss Brooks, and if you have anything, maybe whisper it to her. You just can't say it out.
Okay.
So, all right. So please continue. I mean, and I understand that there might be a lot of animosity or just stuff that happened that's really icky and not great, but all I can do as a court system is offer you reimbursement financially. So I just want to reiterate, all we're here for is please tell me information about this iPhone, because everything else I can't do anything about that. My hands are tied. I apologize. So please tell me, when she started work, when she stopped work there, like, was there an agreement that she would keep paying for it, or
Yes.
what happened?
Yes.
Just tell me about the phone,
When
please.
she left, we agreed that she would still make payments
Okay.
because she needed the phone. I wished her good luck, no hard feelings.
Okay.
And then when we got the bill, we had a bill of,
Okay.
that's an outrageous phone bill to pay
Every month we have
every month. It's
Okay.
an $800 phone bill because she messed the billing up and the late fees and oh my goodness. But she shows here on, her proof that you have, she got $490 from AT&T.
because
She traded the phone in, our phone, brand new. And now she, doesn't have a bill other than just the service bill. So it's not crazy like ours.
And she did all that on my line.
And she did it all on
Peter's.
Peter Holland's line and used his credit.
Without me even being there.
Hey,
He
Mr.
wasn't
Holland, just wait up a second, sir. Yeah, I'll let you speak in a second. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm confused. So she took your phone
Mhm.
and
It's
she just
AT&T.
traded it in. Did she trade it in for another phone, or
Yep.
what happened?
Yes, she downgraded so she wouldn't have a crazy expensive bill.
Okay.
So
Okay.
she got right here. It shows you. She shows the receipt. $490 on that receipt
Okay.
that she got toward this other phone that she
It
traded.
looks like it's an iPhone 13, 128 gigabytes for $400.
Yeah. So now she doesn't have a bill. And now we have, this crazy bill each month.
Why haven't you guys just taken her off?
We did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did. If you look in the notes, all the text messages and stuff, every single one of them I sent to you and to her to reiterate what happened. You know, I'm not lying in any way, shape, or form. I just want to get this phone taken care of and we can move on. You know, it makes me really sad that I cannot help human beings anymore. I really can't. Can't trust anybody because then they stick you, you know, with this craziness.
I guess I'm just trying to, can you please tell me how you arrived at the $1,599.93? How did you get to that value?
One phone, one iPad, and the iWatch. And then she added another phone. I believe it was her boyfriend's phone, another line on it. So that made that bill more than what Shamrock's phone bill was. Hers was higher than his phone bill.
Okay, I'm just, okay, but you got the iPad and iWatch back, right? So
And we
why-
had to sell that. We tried to trade it back in, and the company said, no, we'll only give you $1 for it.
So we got stuck with it.
So we got stuck with it. So we went and sold that and paid, not last month, but the month before, phone bill with that.
Okay.
Until we could get to court and figure this mess out.
Okay. But still, can you just tell me how you got to the $1,599.93? Like, what is the breakdown on that? How did you get that value? Is there a breakdown? Like, what's going into it? I just need to know what I'm awarding in that.
It's the total payment of the phone, the iPad, and the watch.
Okay, where do you
It was
have
a
that
bundle.
bill?
It was a bundle deal.
Do you have that bill? Where's the bill that
In
walks
the,
me through
in
this?
the first papers that I filed,
1 second. Let me try
They
to.
wrote that down. It was written down.
we went into AT&T
Supervisor.
and the supervisor wrote it down
See it.
Okay.
because I explained to him what was going on and that we were, you know,
Make sure she sees it.
we were going to take her to court.
Down.
And he said, well, this is the amount that you need to sue her for. And so this is his. And I sent this to you.
Okay, well, it says here $266.63 for the watch, $444.43 for the iPad, and then it says $1,599.93 for the iPhone. So the amount is only for the iPhone, though. You said watch and iPad.
Yeah.
That's what's confusing to me because that's not what you wrote down. You're just saying iPhone, but then you're saying that this amount is inclusive of an iPad and an iWatch.
Just the phone. See, he circled just.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Right.
It's just the statement that you're making is different from what's being requested, so that's why it's getting
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're
confusing.
supposed to get like 2,000. We're supposed to be requesting the total amount, which would be the phone.
Mr. Holland, can you raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Peter Joseph Holland Jr., Holland.
Thank you, sir. Now you can speak because I hear you talking all the time. So the $1,599.93, is that just for an iPhone or is that also for a line? Is it for what?
That's just for the iPhone. And the reason being because we got the iPad and the iWatch back. So we had to sell it to pay off my little phone bill last month. But so that's what's outstanding. The whole iPhone, she took the whole iPhone, which is a brand new 16, and it costs $1,599, which is $1,600.
Okay, and then she used it and then turned it in for credit for 400 and
Right, yeah.
whatever.
Because,
Okay.
yeah, she was having problems not making it to work, problems with the kids. So we gave her some time off. And while the time off, she went and got a job at another studio. And at the other studio, she had the iPhone, the watch, and the iPad. And we talked to the owner of the studio, and the owner took the iPad and iWatch from her, and she wouldn't give the phone to her. So the owner gave us the watch and the iPad back, but she took the phone back to AT&T without me, and she traded in her phone, the brand new iPhone, on my bill without me even being there. She traded in for a lesser phone from $1,500 down to $400, so she wouldn't have to pay any bill, but all the bill got stuck on my bill because she knew what she was doing, because she had did it before with AT&T. They said, well, the reason she couldn't get nothing before because AT&T said she had an outstanding bill for $799. She ran off with their phone the first time.
Okay.
And I didn't know this until afterwards, after we had already gotten into it.
Okay. So I understand. So the amount you're requesting is just for the physical phone.
Yes, $15.99,
Okay.
93 cents.
All right. Well, that,
And we don't wish her no harm. We really tried to help her get her life together. We gave her a phone, a watch, an iPad, a job to help her get her business together, and that's where we left off at. We have no ill will. We're not trying to take nothing from her.
Just do the right thing.
Yeah, we're just trying to be honest, abiding citizens, law abiding citizens, and do
Okay.
the right thing.
okay. Do you have any witnesses that you wish to call for this or anything additional that you wish to state?
No.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask, I'm sorry, I heard you saying it's not Lauren, it's like Lauren. What's your last name, ma'am?
My last name is Lauren. My first name is Lurie.
Okay, so it is Lauren. I was pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, that's my last name.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to address you by your last name. So Miss Lauren, I'm going to give you a chance now for your testimony. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth during this proceeding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you please spell your full name and, I'm sorry, can you state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Lurie Lynn Lauren, Loren.
Okay, thank you. Could you please go ahead with your testimony?
First, I don't even know where to begin. There was multiple lies in their testimony. They knew I couldn't get that kind of phone and that kind of bundle through my credit because that was first spoken about when we did it. I did not add another line. I can't add another line because I was not a person I wasn't, what's the word, added to the account like that. I didn't have the authority to be able to add a line. My fiance has his own phone and it's actually through the state. So he has it, like the phone itself is a state phone. He doesn't have another phone. I can't add a line. I did trade in the phone. Yes. I got a text before I traded in the phone and I put that in my documents that my phone was paid off. Peter contacted me freaking out on me when I was 3 days late. My phone bill was $150 every month and I paid it on time, except for that one time because I was working and I had been working all day long. And by the time I got off, they were closed. So when he contacted me, I was actually at work. I left work to go deal with this situation. I traded in the phone because I got told that I was allowed to do so by themselves. And then not only that, he's kept harassing me, kept freaking out on me. I did willingly give the iPad and the watch to Christina, the owner of 360 Tattoo. She didn't have to take it from me. I willingly did that. That was never a problem. I didn't want problems with them. He asked me to get off the phone bill, and I did. So from what I knew, I had every right to do it. I had the text saying that my phone was paid off, so I didn't know any of that. So, and then me giving back the iPad and the iWatch, I did that willingly. I have not slandered them on Facebook. They have slandered me plenty. I keep getting screenshots constantly from other people slandering me for them or them slandering me. Peter has been posting videos of me on his story, get that sent to me constantly. And finally, after being tired of it, I did speak up with my truth of the situation because I got tired of the harassment, which I was getting harassed by random people due to these posts talking badly about me, saying that I've threatened them. I'm a thief.
Okay. Miss Lauren, so like I said to Miss Brooks, I apologize for anything that may be going outside of may be happening from this situation. Unfortunately, I am a court that can only offer monetary reimbursement. So I'm sorry that happens. I can't, character stuff doesn't really affect the value of this phone.
So from what I knew, my phone was paid off. I got that text. That's what I was told. I didn't turn in my phone until March. I think it was the 3rd. And so that was days after I got that text. And I'm also trying to do the right thing. I gave them their stuff back willingly. I got off his plan like he asked me to. It was the only way I could. They knew that I couldn't transfer it over like that. So I did the only thing I could do.
Okay. So they go and get you a phone. It's your statement that you paid it off in monthly increments of $150. When you paid it all off based on this text message that you got on February 28th, you thought that you had paid it off, and so that made the phone yours.
Yes, that's what I was aware of. So I traded it in when Peter started calling me, freaking out on me because I was 3 days late on my bill. I paid the bill, and then he said, I want you off. And I said, but I just paid the bill. And so I got off anyways after he was freaking out on me. He freaked out on the AT&T representative that was helping me. I had him on speaker. It was a very embarrassing situation. But from what I knew, the phone was paid off.
And you said that Mr. Holland had told you, hey, once it's paid off, go ahead and sell it.
No, once it's paid off, it was mine to do as I please. That's what I got told. But he wanted me off his plan. It was the only way for me to get off his plan was to trade it in and get on a prepaid plan. It was the only option I had. AT&T told me that, so I did that. And they didn't buy it outright. I was the only one that ever paid any money on that until I traded it in.
When did you trade it in for this new phone? I
I
just
believe
can't see the date on the receipt.
I believe it was March 3rd. It was, it was March 3rd. It was around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon that I went in.
Okay.
And AT&T also told me I had the right to be able to turn it in. So I truly thought that I was in the right. And they told me it was the only way to get off his plan. That if I wanted off his plan another way, it had to be using my credit, and I didn't have enough credit to do that. So I did the only way possible.
Instant transfer.
What is this? What is this that you sent me? The AT&T.com total of $625.49. What is this?
That's the amount that I've been like paying off. And that's the amounts that I've paid. They posted it up on Facebook slandering me, and I grabbed it to use proof of me paying stuff off. So that way you could see that it was me paying for the iPhone, the iPad, and the watch, and that they specifically were not paying on that.
It's a little confusing to me. I don't see how anyone's paying. I just see a total.
It was confusing to me as well, but I wanted to use it to prove to you that it says my name, says that I was paying. I was just meaning it as a way for you to see I was the one paying on those devices. And again, I can't add a line if I'm not an authorized user, and I was not an authorized user to add or change anything on the account.
I do believe you. I think that you can't just add lines unless you are added to the account. I believe that. I know that that's how that works as a, cell phone holder myself. So, okay. I get that. Do you have anything else to say?
I just want all of this to stop. I want them to just leave me alone. I want to live in peace. I'm sorry that they feel that I did them wrong. I thought I was doing the only thing that I could to get off the plan like they wanted me to. They knew I didn't have the credit to do that the other way. So I did what I thought was best. And I also thought the phone was paid off. So I got told that they weren't going to get smacked with anything by the AT&T representative. And his name is Josh. I remember him. He even gave me his personal number if I had any other issues with them, but I've never contacted him because honestly, it's not worth it.
Well, are you aware what they got smacked with?
No, I not until they just told me that apparently they have an $800 bill. I wasn't aware of anything. They never told me. They never calmly contacted me saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. Like, can you please help me make this right? I've only been slandered and harassed." And so I didn't know. AT&T told me they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I got the text that my phone was paid off.
Okay.
Was authorized to, like, I had the right to be able to trade my phone, get off the plan, like he wanted me to get off.
Okay. So here's the issue. $1,599.93 is the cost of a new phone. I don't think that anyone denies that Miss Lauren made some payments. She made some payments. I even see in the text messages you sent, like, hey, you know, I think it's Miss Brooks, maybe you're talking to her. You're like, hey, you didn't make this payment. You need to go make it. She says she's working. I read through the text. So there must have been some payments made to the phone. So I guess I'm a little bit confused why you're asking for the full value of the phone when Miss Lauren was paying some payments towards the phone. Maybe not.
She only made 3
She
payments.
made 3 payments.
That's not true. That amount on there shows you.
And when she made them, she only made half partial payment. She only paid 150 out of like 190 or 180 what the actual bill was.
My phone bill was 150. That's what they told
Hey,
me.
we're talking to me only, not to each
Oh,
other.
no, I was talking to you. They told me that my phone bill, specifically my portion, was $150 at AT&T, and that's what I paid every month. And I had that phone in November or October. It was October. It was November. I think it was the end of October. And I had been paying $150 every month up until
We got the phone November 4th.
Last 150 was March 3rd.
Okay, so you from October
To March 3rd.
Okay, if you paid from October to March 3rd, saying those dates are correct, you said end of October. So essentially your first bill might be in November.
I paid $260 out first at the end of October.
Okay, so if you paid $260 and then you say that you pay $150 about each month, correct, after that? Okay, so let's just use your dates. You paid $260 in October, and then it's November, December, February,
January,
March.
right?
January. Sorry. October, November, December, January, February, March. So 5 months. So 5 months of 150. So if we do, my goodness, where's my calculator? I apologize. Let me just grab my calculator. If we do, so Ms. Lauren, if what you're saying is true, if we do 260 plus 150 times 5, that only equals $1,010 and your phone wouldn't have been paid off because not only are you paying for the line, you're also paying for the phone. So how was your phone paid off if you only paid until March?
I don't know. I didn't even know that was the total of the phone. I got the text saying that my phone was paid off. And then when they caused the problem and I asked to get how I can get off his plan, they told me that that was the only way and that he wouldn't get a bill for the phone. So I truly thought my phone was paid off because of the text and because of what the AT&T representative was telling me.
So Ms. Brooks, Mr. Holland, what do you have to say about this text saying, congratulations, your phone is paid off? Where is this coming from, you guys believe?
Don't know.
We've never even seen that.
I gave it to you all as documents, Your Honor.
But the whole point was I didn't say I wanted her off my bill. I said I wanted a peaceful transfer from my bill to her own bill.
That's not true.
Okay.
And she didn't transfer the bill over to her bill. She stuck me with the bill and traded the phone in and got a whole nother phone. She downgraded so she can keep the phone and not have to pay anything. But the bill, the downgrade that left all the leftover, everything got stuck on my bill.
Mm-hmm.
She knew exactly what she was doing because she did this to AT&T before.
Well, okay, so I'm just telling you, my issue is I understand you guys are out of phone. I really do. My problem is you guys are requesting the full value of the phone, right?
That's
But
because we're having to pay the full value.
okay, can you explain to me how are you having to pay the full value? I'm sorry, I just really want to be fair.
Well, these total charges and the late charges
Yeah, plus she
all
was,
added up. And this
I'm
is
sorry,
the last bill that
Did
we
you submit
received.
that for me in
No,
evidence?
I just got this one in the
Okay.
mail. So there was no way that I could get it to you.
Okay.
we just got today, actually.
But yeah, with all the late charges, they just ping you so hard, you know, with the Apple Watch, the iPad, and the phone.
And she was late on every payment, and it made me have to pay an extra $40 on each item.
You're
So
on.
his bill's like a little over $800 a month in order to keep his phone.
And all I have is one phone when I buy out my stuff. I'm still paying for all her stuff.
And so we just want to come to some agreement, you know, where this can be taken care of, that her part, you know.
So based on the bills you're getting, her phone was not paid off before she traded it in?
No,
She traded it in to get it paid off. And when she traded it in, all that extra bill got stuck on mine. She stuck me with everything. She knew because we asked her to peacefully transfer her bill, my bill, off of mine over to hers. I didn't say get off my bill. I said transfer your bill over to your own. And they
Okay.
said they would do that, but she wouldn't go in with me. We waited at AT&T and she would never come there.
Okay, so based on your statement, she traded in the phone so that the remaining balance of 490 would be taken off, right? So
Right,
the
yeah.
phone value.
went
Okay.
on to her new phone.
And then
her new
she
phone.
went and got a phone for $400. How does that?
The
How
new
does
phone
that-
they gave her, the $400 phone they gave her, they took it off of they charged my bill for that. They charged me for that $400.
Okay.
Off of the phone that she traded in was on my phone. I had to pay the whole $1,600. So the phone she traded in to get whatever knocked off, it all went back onto my bill. I had to pay for all. I didn't trade nothing, I didn't get nothing.
You would think AT&T, you know, since they got their phone back, you know, but no, they even made the whole situation worse.
Because we had a
Do you
contract.
understand what I'm explaining? So
I'm listening to you. Uh-huh.
she took our phone in, traded it in for $490 for her own so she can get off our account. But then it stuck us with the whole bill owed.
Yeah, so like
the phone, the iPad, and the watch.
Like $700 or $800 on
That's-
the iPhone 11 or 13 that she got. We paid for all that. The phone that she traded in and got, we ended up getting billed for that.
You can't get billed.
And the bill, you know, in order to keep it standing, this is what we have to pay by tomorrow.
Or my phone gets turned off.
Yeah,
I can't pay it.
his phone gets shut off
All I did was try to help her
tomorrow.
tattoo and make some money and take care of her kids.
Can you see that,
I did nothing bad.
Pam?
Yeah, I can. I'm just confused. If she's not on the line anymore.
Because when she transferred her phone, when she turned the phone in and got a new phone, it was all on my account. That new phone she got, I got charged for it.
But
The old-
okay, I get it, sir. I really do. But I'm just intuitively, if you get a credit for $409 and then you would buy a phone for $400, how can you get charged if you only have?
She
would have a
used
credit
that
for
phone for
$90.
credit.
She had a $1,600 phone. It's very
Okay.
simple. She took the whole brand new iPhone 16, went and traded it in. It's on my bill now. She traded it in, got a brand new iPhone 13. That was $1,000. That $1,000 I got charged for it.
That's weird. It says that they only charged her $400 and she had a $490 credit.
Well, I got charged for all of it.
That $490, here, let me
It
explain.
was on the iPhone 16 that I got.
$490 went on to her new phone that she got from them.
It went toward paying for the new phone.
It went for
Yeah.
her phone.
Yeah. Yep.
We didn't receive any deduction of $490 on this bill. She got it all.
Okay. That makes sense. So then wouldn't she owe you $490, not $1,599.93? Because, or are you saying that she still owed more money on the phone? It's just that's what they would have offered her for trade-in value.
That's just
Right.
the trade-in value.
Yeah, it knocked off all the bill toward her, but it stuck me with the bill.
I get what you're saying. I really do. but it's just, it seems so convoluted. I just don't understand how if they given trade-in credit for $490 that you all of a sudden get hit with the full iPhone value.
I know.
I do. I get what you're saying. It's just intuitively, it just does not make sense. If I have a phone,
Right.
I go to turn it in, even though maybe I had a value associated with it, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you $490 for it," and then
And then
instead I
she-
go buy a $400 phone. I understand that you're not getting the $490 credit; she is, but then I don't understand how all of a sudden $1,599.93 is going to be charged to you if I just traded in my phone for a $490 credit. That's what gets confusing to me. I don't think AT&T can do that. They just gave you a value for a phone.
And ma'am, I gotta fax this off. I talked to headquarters and they wanted me to write out what's going on. And this Josh employee at AT&T that got into Peter's account, don't say anything. He was not supposed to do that. She was supposed to have Peter there for them to do anything on this account. So I'm
Yeah.
filing a report on the employee and the AT&T store
Okay.
because it's all illegal what they have done.
They did it all without me being there.
Yeah, and I have.
I can't
this
see that,
form.
ma'am. I'm not gonna, yeah.
Okay, but anyways, I'm gonna fax this off to their home office.
She had something personal going on with the guy Josh, and he did everything for her without me being there. But I was supposed to be there.
Your Honor, I never met Josh before in my life. That was the first time I've ever interacted with him, so I had nothing personal going on. I mean, I'm getting married in a month. I definitely nothing like that.
Okay. So here's what gets confusing. So Miss Lauren, I hear your testimony, but the months you said you had your phone and made those payments, you could not have paid off the phone in full.
And I see that because I didn't know the total price. I got the text. I thought it was paid off. But after seeing what they showed the breakdown, I do feel bad. And I don't know how that mistake happened. I don't know why I received that text. I don't know why, if I wasn't allowed to trade it in, they would allow me to do so. But I can't just give them a phone back that I don't have anymore. I do feel bad. If I would have known that that was the case, I would have found a different way, or I would have just returned everything, but they still would have been stuck with the bill.
Well, you can give them a phone back. It's called paying for a new one, which is what they're here for today.
Well, I paid off a lot of it, and I don't see how it would be fair to pay for a whole brand new phone when
And that's where my issue is. Do you understand that, Ms.
Yeah.
Brooks and Mr. Holland? Like I hear your side. I think that there's a little bit of an interesting situation that a phone was traded in for $490. So I think absolutely you probably need $490 back, but I'm trying to get to the whole $1,599.93 because that is the cost of a brand new phone. But Miss Lauren did make at least some payments on it. So the cost of it must have gone down. Sorry, go ahead. 3 payments.
I was gonna say she said October, but we got the phone November 4th.
Okay.
The day that
Do
we
you
went November
do
4th.
you have in front of you with all the, because you're able to access the accounts, the payments that were made towards that phone while she had it? Do you have those values?
Yes, the ones that I sent in.
So you sent it. So I have them in front of me. Okay, so she got the phone November 4th. So I have the thing from the AT&T gentleman, and then my first document that I have says issue date January 28th, 2025. So what were the payments from November until then?
She was just paying the 150.
She was only paying like 150 out of the bill was like 180 something, but she was only paying partial.
And then
And I didn't find it out until 3 months later.
and then the late charges started occurring.
Yeah, every month she waited late to pay the bill, so there was late charges each month too.
Gotcha.
So it got bigger and bigger as the months went by.
Okay, can you just tell me how much she paid? Because I see a January 28th statement and that's all I see. I just see the pages of a January 28th statement. Can you just tell me, do you have the statement from November when the phone was turned on? Do you have the statement from December when she made a payment? Do you have any of that information?
December 29th to January 28th.
Okay, what was the payment? Did she make any payment there? It would say at the top, it would say account activity payments.
All from January to February.
Yeah, she was right. Let's see. January 28th.
274.
After, let's see, balance remaining.
Oh,
Let's see. Finance was 300.
where's the actual payment for the bill? Maybe at the end.
Did you get?
There it is. 369. So it'll show my bill and then it should show hers. Hers was 126.77.
No, that's yours.
Okay. All right, that's her name right there.
I see 104.68.
Yeah, 104.68. That's what we're looking at.
And I see 53.85.
Right. That's all she paid was partial. The bill was like almost $200, but she was only paying like 104.53, something like that. You know, she wasn't paying the whole bill. She left me stuck with the bill. She
So
really.
looking at this, is that, so the 369.48, is that supposed to be her whole bill?
No, that's my bill. I have to
Okay.
pay that because she wouldn't trade the phone in. She wouldn't go with me to AT&T and trade the bill to her. She for 3 months she dodged me and left me, stuck me with all these bills. And then she finally traded the phone in, which still then I gave up after that. So I had to go to court from day one.
I understand, sir. What I'm trying to say is how much a month did she pay? I need that actual value. So I see there's 369.48.
She paid
How much of
104
this did she pay?
She paid 104 on that bill.
Yeah, it was 104.68.
Okay, so January 28th, she paid 104.68. How much did she pay in December? Is that the same amount?
I'm gonna see if I can, while you're still on here, I'm gonna see if I can go to my AT&T app. If I have it. If I can get in here.
Miss Lauren, do you have the breakdowns? Where are your receipts showing how much you paid?
I am looking for them right now.
So I think the bigger situation is where's your proof that you actually paid monthly for them?
I didn't keep my receipts, to be honest with you. So, but I paid 150 every month, and I know I did because.
Well, let's just go with the 150 because I think that's fair.
Are you aware that your phone was actually from November 4th?
Yeah, I have memory problems, and I couldn't remember if it was the end of December or beginning of November.
All right.
And you're saying that you paid through March, and Mr. Holland and Miss Brooks are saying you only paid 3 months, so November, December, January.
Not true. I paid every single month. March was my last payment. I tried paying it because he was freaking out because I was late. I paid it, and then he told me he wanted me off his plan. So I did that after paying for the bill. Right after paying for the bill. And then I had to, it was actually a really big mess.
Okay, because I do see the text messages saying March 3rd. So Miss Brooks, this is you telling her that she needs to pay, so she must have paid in March as well, correct?
Right, yes.
Okay, so, and it says, I need you to pay this is you, Miss Brooks, I need you to pay your bill or else I'm gonna shut it off here in an hour. Shamrock, who's Mr. Holland. Okay, so it seems like this was the first.
That was the first incident where I was late.
And we had to go in.
That can't be true because when I'm looking at this bill that's provided from AT&T from January 28th, it says late fee $8.
I paid on the 1st every month, which when I got told that it needed to be paid, he told me the 1st every month. That was the first time I had to pay on the 3rd because I was working.
Okay.
I'm looking at all of them and I don't see a $8 late fee. But
Why did you say that you paid $260?
that's what I
Okay.
first paid when we had to get the phone, the iPad, and the watch. That is what I paid completely to get the service and all of it set up.
Okay, is that anything that you're contending, Miss Brooks, Mr. Holland? Does she pay $260?
Yeah,
the
she
first
paid
month?
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say November, she pays $260. And then, so pretty much it's that amount that I calculated. She paid $260 in November.
That was the
But
setup.
ma'am,
That was the
that's-
setup fee.
Those are setup. That's not the phone. That's for service, setup fees. That's not for the actual device.
Yeah.
It was the first payment of the device as well.
How
Yeah,
much
but
is it?
the-
How much
the
is
whole-
a payment for the device?
It was 260 total. That included everything in the beginning, the service, and I don't think that they do a setup fee. That's the activation fee.
Yeah.
Well, how
Oh.
much is the payment? So 150, it seems like that's your actual fee to have service. How much is it that you're paying towards your phone each month?
Nothing.
150 was each month after the 260 to get the service, the activation fee, which was
Okay.
only $35, and then my service was $60. So the rest of that was towards everything else. The 260 was towards everything else. The activation fee for AT&T is $35, and then the service was I'm pretty sure it was the $60.
Okay, so it says here, January 28th, Apple 128 gigabytes, and this is in January, so I think Apple 128 gigabytes must refer to the iPhone 16. And it says here, installment 3 of 36, so that's $27.78. That seems how much it's costing you a month for the phone. Is that correct?
I'm gonna assume so. Those kind of things confuse the heck out of me, so I never understood what they all meant.
Is your phone ending in 9930? Was it?
It was.
Okay, so it looks like your monthly bill was actually $104.68.
Okay, well, I paid 150 every month.
Okay, and then in January, it says balance remaining after current installment, $916.65. In March, you went and traded in your phone. If you owe 916, this is on your bill that was provided.
All of me, or if that's all of us included? Because he also got an iPhone, an iPad, and a watch.
It says Apple 128 gigabytes, so it's
Okay.
only one phone, only one phone. So in January 28th, the issue date, balance remaining after current installment was $916.65. So did you pay $916.65 before March?
No, I never had access to any of that either.
Okay.
And
So there's no way you would have received a text saying that your phone's
I have that text. All of my texts from my previous phone even transferred to this new phone. I still have that text from my old phone. I screenshotted that before I traded in that phone.
okay. Miss Brooks, so did she cut off her service in March? When did she cut off I'm trying to like figure this out. When did she stop being associated with your phone? When did she disconnect from you? And
March 3rd.
March 3rd. So, okay. So March 3rd, and that's when she went and traded in her phone, got the new phone. Okay. So do you have the bill for February in front of you? It should say issue date February on top.
That's January.
I have January 28th on this
Oh,
one.
that's January.
That's what I have. Do you have February or March?
I don't think so. No, I have this, this is what they printed out at AT&T when we were down there.
Mr. Holland, were you able to get onto your,
No,
No.
but the
No.
AT&T, they wrote right here.
yeah, but that's not, so see, my issue is,
That's what she should have been paying each month is $199.62.
Yeah, that's what she's supposed
That's
to
what
pay.
AT&T told us We,
shows-
we went down there.
Okay.
That was the actual bill she was supposed to pay, but she wasn't paying the full 199.62, and I was getting stuck with all the extra that she wasn't paying.
I
She only paid
understand.
like 104 and
150.
150. She paid about 150.
My issue is you guys are asking for the reimbursement of the phone, right? The phone.
Yes.
I'm trying to get to how much was owed still on the phone after any payments that Miss Lauren made. So the closest I have right now is this January bill that you have provided that says that balance remaining on the Apple 128 gigabyte is $916.55. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes
That
Yeah.
is the value of the phone minus any payments that Miss Lauren has made
Right.
up
Right.
until January. So that's why I wanted to know, do you have February to tell me when she was still attached to your account, what was the value of the
Let me go
phone at
grab
that point?
1 second.
That's why I'm asking that.
Okay.
Your Honor, I believe it was around 600, if my calculations are correct.
So you're saying that in 1 month from February to March, you paid about $300.
I paid 150 each month.
Well, if you paid 150 each month, then it would be 916 minus 150, not the 300, which you just stated, because you said it'd be around 600.
If that was for January, I
Yeah.
paid in February, and then I paid 150 in March.
Well, in March 3rd, you were already off their line, so there's no way you would have paid.
I paid the bill, and then he told me to get off his line. So I traded the phone in after paying the 150.
This
Okay.
is February's right here.
Yep. And
Okay.
I paid the $300.
Okay, can you please go to the Apple 128 gigabyte that specifically says phone ending in 9930 for Larry Lauren? Is that, but that's the bill, ma'am. I'm asking for how much is owed on the phone. So if you go, it should be about page 6 of 7. Do you have 7? However, it should be towards the end.
Yes. Like this, yeah.
Is that Miss Lauren's portion?
Is this one hers?
I know this is hers right here.
Okay, let me show you what I'm looking for.
in
So
March, so
it should look something like this. I'm sorry here. It should say, gosh, it's a little blurry. Let me see if I can hold it up there. So it should say Miss Lauren Lurie. It should say her phone number right here. And
Right.
it should lay out that she owes about $369.48, the total for the wireless. And in the corner, it should say how much is still balance remaining after current
that's all of it
installment.
right there for Larry Lauren, the 28 gigabyte.
So balance remaining,
Just,
where's the balance remaining?
but that's her name, so maybe it's on here
So
somewhere.
it should say like established on November 6th. So it actually, your phone was set up on November 6th, not the 4th. And then it says balance remaining after current installment. How much is still owed on the phone?
Apple 64 gigabytes. Is that the
No.
one?
No, that's
hers
not
is
her
on
phone.
28.
120.
Her name is on there because it's right there, Larry Lauren. So
Is it maybe on the next page or something? I don't know. It should say,
maybe,
That's 307.
and the back with the back to it.
yeah, is there a it should say Apple 128 gigabytes on the right side. It should say the
What's this?
serial number associated with
I
it.
see 1,199.99.
All right, well, let's see if we can find her phone, the 3390 phone, or
Yeah, I see 1,199.99.
but that's for Apple 256 GB.
That's a different phone.
That's different.
Oh,
All right, so see how it says this? We're looking for the one that says 128 right here. I can see them now, but just give me one
Yeah.
second.
That's fine. I just need to know what the amount is on the
There it
February.
That's it right here. All right, it's 916. All right, I got you right, perfect right here.
yeah.
Please hold it up. Okay, great. So, oh, it's a little blurry. Go back. So, okay, November 6th. So it's, is this, what does it say on the top? Can I see what it says on the top? Like on the very top right corner of the right corner, not
Up
where
here?
it says AT&T. Yes, right. No, keep going up, right up. See in the corner, it says the date.
Okay, right
Yeah.
here.
Yes, thank you, sir. I just need to see what it says. It says, but that's the bill I have. Do you have a February bill, sir?
Oh,
That's the,
that's January?
yeah, I need February.
All right, I see what you mean.
Is that it over there?
That's what I'm trying to find.
This
I'm
is
trying to
March.
see
These are
the,
March. I didn't know that bill said January. All these say March right here.
that's okay. If there's one that says March, that's even better.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
that one just came.
All right.
Now that you sort of see what I'm looking
Oh,
for.
yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it tells you how much her phone is still worth at that time before she.
Oh, okay.
trades it
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah. Right now, I'm still paying off 861. I got exactly what you need right there.
Okay, so 861, thank you. And how much, and what, 861 and what?
861 is what I'm paying on her devices.
Okay,
The
is
bill.
there any cents associated with that or just
Oh, it's
861?
$861.09
Okay, perfect.
right there.
And is that a March or a February bill? I see that, thank you.
That's March.
Perfect, so that's, and okay. Well, that explains it.
Right, that's the
So,
number you were looking for, exactly.
okay, so the amount that you would receive for the phone, 861.09, plus the trade-in value that she got value for, which was, how much was that trade-in value? So when you went in March, Miss
400.
Lauren, your phone was not even close to paid off. You still had $861.09 on it.
She knew all that.
Okay, well, I don't know how AT&T sent me that text, but
Maybe because you were, well, I don't even know how you would receive that text because you weren't associated with their line. There's no way that they should be sending you an authorized user.
I got text about my bill being due and stuff like that, but I
That
did
was way after the fact.
AT&T.
Okay.
That was actually got everything transferred.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's what we needed. That's the value we needed because that's what her phone was worth minus any payments she made because, I mean, so did everyone present all the information? Because
ma'am.
I have everything I need to make a judgment at this point.
Yes.
Anything from you, Miss Lauren?
Well, I'm kind of confused how it's not lower because I did pay 150 in February and 150 in March. So
The reason why it's not lower is because your $150 payment wasn't all towards the phone. You were paying for the services, which included the line, the texting, whatever goes into it, plus some of it was incrementally going to the phone. So you weren't paying directly $150 to the phone each month. You were paying it to break up stuff.
okay.
So I hear what you're saying. I think that you did make payments from November, it's actually 6th based on the bill information, November 6th of, gosh, when was it?
2000.
Last year or this year? 2020, it can't even be this year. Sorry. That was a strange question. It was from 2024. So I do not doubt that you paid from November 6th, 2024. And I don't think there's any discussion that you didn't pay through March. I think we have some payments through March, so you did. Your phone value, if AT&T is saying that it started off at $1,599.93 and it went down to $861.09 in March, it shows that you made payments. You absolutely did. However, it also shows that your phone was not paid off in March. There is the statement from March, the last month that you were associated with the line, that there's still $861.09 remaining for the phone's value from that original almost $1,600. So I think that you absolutely do owe the $861.09 back to Mr. Holland because he did bite that value. He still owes that on the phone. And then in addition, you went and traded that phone for $490 and you used that amount because it says here that your change due was $0. So even though you went and traded in a $490 iPhone 16 that still had an $861 value on it, and you traded it in for an Apple iPhone 13 that had a $400 value in it, post-tax and any kinds of additional little increments, you ended up spending the whole $490 because it says that you also paid $338.30 for cab sup AT&T 42. I don't know what that is, but you also bought something, a charger. So you got a charger that day too. And then it said prepaid activation fee $15. So you essentially ended up after taxes using that $490 credit that you received for the phone. That isn't a value that Mr. Holland got. That's a value that you took and you applied to a phone. So you essentially took a credit that Mr. Holland should have received and bought your own phone off of that. That wasn't your own money to use. And so based on that, you owe him $490 back as well. So based on the fact that the value of the phone post some payments made by you was $861.09, and then you traded in the phone for $490 and used up that value, you actually owe $1,351.09 on an Apple iPhone 16, not $1,599.93. That is what you owe. So, sorry that was convoluted. I did want to put in some of the money that Miss Lauren did pay. So that's not the amount that you're requesting, but she did make some payments that eventually did depreciate the phone value, but you do need to get the $490 back for the trade-in value because that wasn't credited to your account. It was actually used to purchase another phone. So at this time, I will be awarding the plaintiffs $1,351.09 for an iPhone 16 from AT&T. I will be awarding you $35 back for a filing fee. Did you have to pay any money to serve, Miss Lauren?
No.
Okay, I'm going to put in 0 for that. I'm awarding you.
$35.
Well, I paid the $35
Yeah.
to file.
That's the filing fee that I'm reimbursing to you. You are receiving a 9% post-judgment interest rate.
Malika Nimaga. Good morning, ma'am. This is case 5A0356676. You are Malika Nimaga?
Yes,
Good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
You received an infraction, it appears, on March 24th, 2025, while driving in the city of DuPont. It appears that you were stopped by Officer Robert Turk of the DuPont Police Department, and Officer Turk issued a infraction for speeding 11 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. Let me take a quick look here. Ms. Namaga, it does appear that you have a perfect driving record. And so you have a couple of options that are available to you here today. Number one, you can continue to proceed with the contested hearing where you're asking for an opportunity to challenge the sufficiency of the evidence cited by Officer Turk supporting his decision to issue this infraction. You also have the option of mitigating this infraction by requesting that the fine amount be reduced, but that will result in a finding of committed of the infraction. The other option you have available to you is a deferral because you have a perfect driving record. You have the option of paying the $176 on the face of the infraction. And as long as you do that and you have no other moving violations for the next 6 months, after 6 months, if both of those things are true, I will dismiss this infraction at that time. Do you know how you'd like to proceed?
Yes, I would like to contest this ticket. The reason for that is the fact that I was on my way to work and I only live 2 minutes away from my work.
Okay.
And there's no way I would be speeding. I was right on time. I'm supposed to, there's no way.
Okay.
And it was my first week. I was heading there and he pulled me over, and I'm very conscious of when I'm driving. And I know that it's 35 on the speed limit. I believe that I was doing 40. He pulled me over, he said I'm doing 11. And when I'm asking him, I'm like, what are the baseline of you saying that? He's telling me that I just should go online and pay for the ticket. That's assumption right there. And for me, that was not okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Ms. Namaya, here's what I'm going to do. Because I follow the same procedure every time somebody contests a traffic ticket. I'm going to read the officer's report first. So I'm going to read his version of what happened.
Sure.
I'm then going to come back to you and see if there's any, you've already told me some information, but I'm going to see if there's any additional information you'd like to share with me. And then the court will make a decision whether or not the city of DuPont has provided sufficient evidence to prove that it's more likely than not that the infraction occurred. Okay?
Sure.
So give me one moment. I'm going to go ahead and read that report. Court has reviewed the report of the issuing officer, Officer Robert Turk of the DuPont Police Department, signed under a penalty of perjury on March 24th, 2025. Ms. Namaga, you've already provided some information concerning what did and did not happen that morning. Is there any additional information you'd like to provide? And if so, I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that any testimony you'll provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear that I will provide the truth.
Thank you. So what other information would you like the court to?
My other information is I recently moved there and I noticed that every morning between 6:30 a.m. and let's say 7, the officer, I don't know if it's only him, you will see the police officer park right there by the entrance of Amazon and just targeting people coming through. I live in DuPont. If I was living outside DuPont, he had serving me that ticket, I would have said maybe. Then I would have said that, let me see the radar, I need proof. I live only 2 minutes away. And they're there every single morning. I just moved to DuPont and I was told that you have no idea how many people working on Amazon being targeted just to give them a ticket. If they have something personal with Amazon, let's be real. But for me, I felt like we've been targeted. And I'm one of the managers that works there. And I felt like this is crazy. We're coming to work. We're not criminal. We're trying to make a living. What have we done wrong? Don't get me. Maybe some employee will come and speeding coming from other town. I literally live in DuPont, 2 minutes away. It doesn't make sense. I'm so sorry. And every morning now, when you go, you could see that. And I'm like, okay, let's just do 20, because I just moved here. I never been served a ticket for living in my town. I live in a very secure town, let me tell you, and that never happened. This is my first time seeing this. And it's crazy. I wanted to take it personal, but when people are coming forward and telling me what's going on with them, then I was like, you know what? It's real, because you could see the fact that every morning. That's harassment. Let's be realistic. I don't know.
Ms. Navaga, thank you for your testimony. I'm not unsympathetic. I understand what you're saying. I understand. I think your issue is the manner in which this particular officer or the DuPont Police Department is setting up in a specific location.
Yes.
The issue that the court is confronted with is a very limited question.
Mm-hmm.
Question before the court is whether or not, while driving in the city of DuPont on Center Drive, it looks like you were driving on Center Drive.
Mm-hmm.
The question before the court is whether or not it's more likely than not that there is information in the officer's report that you are exceeding the posted speed limit.
Yes.
So what I have from, as far as evidence on that very narrow question, I've got the officer saying that he visually estimated your speed at over 40 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. I have your testimony where you say you think you were doing about 40 in
Yes,
a
it's
35 mile per hour
35.
zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the speed measuring device, which the officer was using a radar gun that appears to have been properly calibrated, that reported your vehicle traveling at 46 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. Based on all of that, the evidence before the court is sufficient to establish that the city of DuPont has met its burden of proving that it's more likely than not, by a preponderance of the evidence, that you were speeding over 35 miles per hour at the time that you were stopped and cited for this infraction. I'm not making any finding as to whether or not the way in which they're enforcing the speed laws are fair. I get your argument, I do, but that is beyond the scope of the question that is before the court. And so based on all of the evidence that the court has in front of it, the court is making a finding this infraction was committed. And so I will enter a finding of committed as to this infraction based on the totality of the evidence that has been submitted. And I will impose that infraction amount, which is, I believe, let me see. That is $176. So Ms. Namaga, you will need to pay that $176 infraction amount no later than October 5th. You can pay it all at once, or you can pay it in partial payments, as long as it is paid to the court no later than October 5th.
I have a question here. Is there any way I could see the result of the radar?
I'm sorry?
Is there any way I could see the result of the radar? Is there
So-
any way that could be provided to me?
So I don't think there's any way to see the result of the radar at the time that the officer captured your speed. What you can get is a copy of the certification of the radar device showing that it was properly calibrated and it was good in good working order. And that would be available to you either from our court, because we keep those on file, or you can get it from the DuPont Police Department.
So it would say that the device that he was using were properly calibrated.
Mhm.
So is what he say against what I say? Maybe the device was not even working properly because they've been targeting a lot of people in this area.
Right.
I would like to contest the company who's making that device. That's number one.
Yeah.
You have to go over, there might be some defect going on. Now, what the police is doing, like I say, I know for a fact I wasn't speeding.
Yeah. And you can get a copy of that
I
certificate.
wish I could see when he said that I was speeding.
Yeah.
Have a paper, because in Europe, we do the same thing where you could see at that time it will be printed, then they will provide it.
Yeah.
That is not here. It's like now is what he's saying against what I'm saying.
Right.
And
In the officers in Washington, they have the discretion to show the driver, the motorist, the readout, but they're not required to. And so some officers do that, some officers do not.
he didn't show me anything. Trust me. I know for a fact he was just looking for many of us to target. Every day I drive there in the morning on my way to work. Trust and believe, I've seen so many people.
Yeah, I understand.
That's what has been their money making. Let's be realistic. And for me, the town of DuPont is harassing us.
And there is no doubt that certain locations all across the state, officers kind of set up in those locations and issue a lot of tickets. And that may very well be what's happening here. I don't know.
It's a very safe town to drive through. People, believe me, there is school around. We are so aware of
Yeah.
what the speed limit is.
Yeah, I know.
I have my daughter who will go to the middle school. You think I'll be speeding there? You think I would love for people to speed there? Why do you think I choose DuPont? I work hard. I always make sure I live in a very safe town.
Yeah.
And I got relocated here by Amazon to work here as one of the managers on this side. I'm a healthcare professional. So there's no way on earth I was speeding. I'm so sorry. And now there's no proof. It's what he says. Calibration is, I'm very frustrated. I'm so sorry.
I understand. Yeah.
I don't mind paying the 176, but this is not fair to me for this to go through my driving record while I'm doing my best. It's not fair.
I understand. Yeah, I understand that is how you feel, and I respect that. Unfortunately, the issue before the court is a very narrow one, and the court's made its ruling.
Okay, how this could be dismissed? What's going to happen here?
You have the right to appeal the court's decision. Yeah, and so you can get information on how to go about appealing the court's decision from the court clerks at the counter out front on your way out.
All right, so now in between,
Oh,
you,
do we have that information here? Oh, and we do. Yeah, we do have the calibration report for the speed measuring device
thank
the
you.
officer was using, so we can give you that as
I
well.
would love to have that.
Certainly.
Yes,
We can hand it to you right up here.
yes. Another thing that you said earlier, you said that within 6 months, if I don't get a ticket, if we don't, all of us, it applies to all of us. So the ticket will be dismissed. Is it a state of Washington
Mhm.
law or what's going on here? Because I need
Well, the court has made a finding that the infraction was committed. And so the court is upholding the infraction that the officer issued and has indicated that you have to pay that fine of $176 no later than October 5th.
Okay, so when I pay that, and what happened? Like, what, 6 months from now, if there's no infraction, then this will be pulled out of my record, or what's going on here?
No, it will remain on your record. The only way that it comes off your record is if you defer the infraction, but you elected to proceed with a contested hearing. And so the court has conducted that contested hearing and has found that the infraction was committed. So it will go on your driving record.
I would love to do that. Is it possible for me to do this virtually next time? Because I have to leave work to come here.
Oh, yeah, you can appear virtually. You just need to schedule that hearing to appear virtually. I have a number of people who are appearing virtually
Yes.
this morning. So yeah, you can do that in the future. If you receive any future infractions,
I will.
you have the option of appearing by Zoom.
Not an infraction. I still want to appeal this.
Oh, yeah, and you can appeal this to Superior Court in Tacoma.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Docket.
Thank
Calling
you.
the case number of 25P146407. This is the City of Royal Oak versus Kia Wang. Your appearance, please. Officer.
Officer Bonacorsi.
Okay, Miss Wang.
Kia Wang.
All right, and this is the date and time for the hearing on your parking ticket. What is your choice, ma'am? Do you want to admit responsibility with explanation, or deny responsibility and have an informal hearing?
I would like to explain what happened.
Okay, you want to admit responsibility with explanation. What would you like the parking enforcement officer to hear about you?
So I was in my backyard at the time, and then I came out to my front yard, and I saw. So at first I didn't know that she was the parking officer because I have a lot of pedestrians going through the neighborhood. So I wasn't sure what was going on, and then when I saw that she was printing a ticket, I approached her and asked like what was the situation because the vehicle was parked right outside of my house. And then she mentioned it was improperly parked, and I like didn't really know what was going on. And then she mentioned left wheels to curb, and I haven't heard that expression before. And she pointed to my neighbor and said like I have to park like the way they are. And I didn't know what she was talking about. And once like she explained that I wasn't allowed to park on the left side of the road, and I didn't know that was a rule prior to that. Like there's no signs
Right.
on my block. Yes.
You were just parking the wrong way, right? Her vehicle should have been parked the other way.
Right. Yeah. And I didn't know that was.
Ma'am, how long have you lived at this house?
I've been there since 21, but I've never.
How long have you been driving a car and parking? And know that all the cars on one side of the street park the same way. It's quite incredible to me that you didn't know that you have to park your car the same way.
I never ran into this before, and also being that it's outside my house.
You know why you haven't run into it? Because you normally probably don't park like that. How often do you park the wrong way?
It depends on the direction that I come. So because my driveway is really short, so I can't really just like park on the driveway. So then I tend to like.
And when you drive around your street, you drive around Royal Oak, how many cars do you see parked the opposite direction?
Before this, I honestly haven't paid attention to that.
Probably 0 to 1, and then they're on their way to get a ticket. I mean, you've been living there for 4 years, and you're saying you didn't know what way you're supposed to park?
I know that.
I mean, are you being genuine when you say that?
I really am. I didn't know that was this like, just specific to this area. Like I absolutely.
No, it's not. It's a universal parking rule. It's not you park like that in Berkeley, you get a ticket.
Right. And like, because it's like outside my house.
You get a ticket in Ferndale.
Right.
Because of what?
I was gonna say, like, normally if I'm driving elsewhere, that's absolutely true. Like, I'm always on the right side of the road. But because, like, I'm outside of my house, sometimes, like, if I'm loading and unloading, like, I didn't know that was, like, it just didn't occur to me. Like I said, because, I'm, like, right outside my house.
Were you parked here, or were you loading and unloading?
I was parked and I was, like, doing yard work at the time.
So why weren't you parked the right way?
It was the direction that I came. Like I have a fire hydrant outside the front of my house, so normally I don't park like on the other side.
Okay. Officers, is there anything you would like the court to consider on behalf of this Ms. Wayne?
Just that I don't know that I've ever seen signs anywhere in the state of Michigan saying that you need to park facing in the same direction of travel on any of the roadways. Just that left wheels to curb is incorrect because you're facing the opposite direction of travel. I'm not sure if that's part of the Secretary of State test or anything, but it's not something that gets posted on the streets. When I came to that house and started writing the ticket, I didn't see or hear anybody in the yard. She has a privacy fence, so I didn't even know she was out there gardening until I was done writing the ticket. She came out and asked what I was doing, so I explained it
does
to her
that-
at
I
that
mean-
time.
Right. I mean, would that have made a difference?
May I add something, please?
Yes, you may, ma'am.
So I approached the officer and had I had a chance, if I knew that what was the situation, I would have promptly moved my vehicle. And then when we had the discussion, she basically said there's nothing that can be done once the ticket is written, and I'd have to contest it in court. But it's had I known that that was the case, I would have immediately moved my car. I had no idea that that was what prompted this whole situation.
You had no idea that you had to park with the flow of traffic, and you've lived on that street for
And
4 years.
there was no other vehicles on the side of the road, and my
I'm
neighbors.
sure, ma'am, I'm sure in the 4 years that you've lived there, you've seen, observed, walked past, or drove past parked cars on your street. Have you?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything you admit responsibility with explanation, officers, or anything you would like the court to consider?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. The court finds you responsible for the ticket, and the fines and costs, I think, on this are $50. The court will reduce the fine to $20, which is the same fine as an expired meter ticket. How long do you need to pay, ma'am?
I can pay it off right away.
Okay, the court will give you 7 days to pay because the file is still in my chamber. So if you go on today, it might not be updated, okay? You can pay online. You can come to the counter and pay. We're always happy to have you. Or you can mail a check or a money order to the court, okay?
You said the file might not be updated yet. So is it
Right,
still
because
going-
it's 4 o'clock and court closes at 4:30 and I still just have your file. So if you were to get off the Zoom and go online, it would probably still show a fine owing of $50, but I've reduced it to 20. It just needs time to get processed by the clerks.
Okay, so do I have
Okay,
to
so-
wait until it gets processed before I pay, or if I pay early, is that going to mess
I'm
up the
not sure.
system?
You can try to go online and pay the
Okay.
$20. I don't know. If I get a ticket, I come to court and pay it. So, okay, so you'll have to just, you can go online to our website and there's a link called All Paid and you can pay it on there.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you so much. That concludes your hearing. Have a nice
Okay, so the first one, the woman with the phone, she knew very well she didn't make enough payments to pay off that phone. But to make herself look good in court, she made up a text. That's what I think. There's no way. Why would AT&T send her a text saying the phone is paid off and not the account holder a text saying the phone is paid off? They wouldn't. And if your phone is paid off, why trade it in for a cheaper one? You already paid the whole thing off. Why trade it in? That's just so illogical. And I think that their tattoo shop will be very happy they are rid of her because her work is not going to be that great and she's going to end up damaging the owner's reputation in that. So that's my opinion. I don't know, but that's my opinion. Now, the second one, the woman who was driving to Amazon and swears they're targeting her. Sure, you never cheat. You never speed. Never. No one ever does. Why would you? No one else does, so why would you? Right? Right. And then the last one, who does not know that that's the way you park? And I've heard of other people getting tickets for the same exact thing. Unless you live in a very, very rural area or you're parking on a one-way street, you park right wheel to the curb. That's just the way it is. It's in the driver's handbook, I'm pretty sure, in all 50 states. So for her to say, well, I've never heard of that, that's crazy. So maybe she's never run into it, but as she drives longer, she'll figure that one out too. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you another time.